The political stage in South Africa has been set ablaze once again, this time by none other than President Cyril Ramaphosa, whose fiery outburst against the media has left the nation and the world in disbelief. In an unprecedented display of anger, Ramaphosa reportedly lashed out at journalists during a closed-door ANC meeting, accusing them of orchestrating a smear campaign against his leadership while amplifying divisions within the already fractured ruling party. The spectacle has now snowballed into a national storm, raising fears of a complete rupture in the African National Congress and throwing the presidency into deeper turmoil. According to insiders, Ramaphosa's frustration boiled over after weeks of relentless headlines exposing corruption scandals, internal feuds, and whispers of foreign investigations into ANC-linked finances. With his usual calm demeanor shattered, the president is said to have declared that he was tired of being a punching bag for journalists who, in his words, twist the truth to feed chaos. Reports suggest he warned of a full confrontation with the media, igniting concerns that government hostility toward the press may be entering dangerous new territory. In his furious tirade, Ramaphosa is alleged to have accused prominent media houses of working hand-in-hand with rival ANC factions to engineer his downfall. "They are not reporting, they are waging war," he allegedly shouted, slamming the table as stunned members of the National Executive Committee looked on. Sources present described the atmosphere as tense, with some ANC heavyweights cheering him on while others exchanged uneasy glances, recognizing the explosive implications of the president openly declaring war on journalists. The ANC itself is said to be splitting even further in the wake of this outburst. One camp, aligned with Ramaphosa, has doubled down on the narrative that journalists are agents of destabilization serving opposition interests. Another camp, however, has condemned the president's remarks, warning that such rhetoric mirrors authoritarian regimes that suppress media freedom. These internal fractures come at a time when the party is already reeling from declining public trust, electoral setbacks, and bitter factional infighting that has reduced the once united liberation movement into a battlefield of egos and survival politics. Journalists, for their part, have wasted no time firing back. Several major news outlets have condemned Ramaphosa's attack on press freedom, warning that his words could embolden violent threats against reporters already facing harassment and intimidation on the ground. Civil society groups, including the South African National Editors Forum, have demanded clarity and accountability from the president, with some even calling for a formal apology to the press. But insiders claim Ramaphosa has no intention of backing down. Instead, he is rumored to be considering sweeping measures to regulate media narratives, a phrase that has left many fearing censorship may soon creep into South Africa's democratic fabric. Some speculate this could involve tighter control of state media, strategic legal battles against independent publications, and bolstering pro-government voices to drown out dissenting journalists. Analysts warn that the timing of this confrontation could not be more perilous. With the ANC facing one of its greatest existential threats since the end of apartheid, a public war with the press risks alienating voters even further. Already, opposition parties have seized on Ramaphosa's remarks, framing him as a leader unraveling under pressure and willing to trample constitutional freedoms to save his own skin. Julius Malema of the EFF wasted no time blasting the president as a coward who blames journalists instead of cleaning his corrupt house, while DA leaders described his attacks as the declaration of war against democracy itself. The fallout has also sparked global attention. International watchdogs are beginning to weigh in, warning that South Africa's reputation as a bastion of media freedom in Africa could be at stake if Ramaphosa follows through on his threats. For a president once hailed as a pragmatic reformer who would restore integrity after the Zuma years, this descent into combative, authoritarian-sounding rhetoric marks a dramatic shift in tone. As the dust settles, one thing is clear: Ramaphosa's furious war cry has opened a new and dangerous chapter in South Africa's political saga. With the ANC splintering, journalists under fire, and public outrage mounting, the nation is bracing itself for an unpredictable showdown. Will the president tighten his grip and silence his critics, or will this reckless declaration of war be the spark that finally fractures the ANC beyond repair? For now, the battlefield has been drawn, and the war between Ramaphosa and the press has only just begun.